Inshallah, we'll make mention of one or two of the narrations that we were discussing. We were discussing the narration of Masruq, and we mentioned that Masruq, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said that certainly and indeed the affair of sitting with the people of deen and uprightness brings purity to the heart. And he mentioned that sitting with the people of muru'at, of good character and of good muru'ah, and staying away from those things that noble people wouldn't do, is from the things that lead to, or that indicate that a person is upon makarim al-akhlaq, and indicate that a person themselves are upon noble character. And then he mentioned likewise that majalasat al-ulama, to sit with the ulama, purifies the heart. We similarly mentioned the statement of Wahb ibn Munabbih, where he said, istakthir min al-ikhwan mastata'at. Be plentiful in accompanying and having brothers, having many brothers or sisters as the case may be, as much as you are able. He said, for indeed, فَإِنْ أَغْنَيْتَ عَنْهُمْ, if you have no need for them, then they will not harm you. But if you need them, then they will bring you benefit. And we said the fact that this indicates then that they understood, the Salaf of this ummah understood that a true brother and a true sister is one who, when you have no need to accompany them, you will not receive harm from them. You won't hear somewhere in the grapevine that they've been speaking about you, or speaking ill of you, or of your family, or of your children, or what have you. Rather, they are those who, if you have no need to accompany them, they will not harm you. But if you have need for them, then they will bring you benefit. Not that when you have need for them, they're the ones that hope to see your affair destroyed, and hope that things don't work out for you, and have that strong malice and rancor and hatred when something works out well for you. That is something that we should remove from ourselves, and we should fear Allah Azza wa Jal as it relates to our brothers and our sisters. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in relation to the blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal upon them. Because when we have that hatred, and when we have that hasad and that jealousy, and when we're filled with rancor because we see our brother or our sister having good, what we're ultimately saying is, I am displeased with the decree of Allah Azza wa Jal. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed that that sister should receive what she received. When we're filled with hatred for it, ultimately we're saying, I am displeased with the decree of Allah. I wish that that did not occur, and that Allah Azza wa Jal did not decree for them such and such. And so, ikhwan, our hearts, no doubt, are in question, and the condition of our hearts are in question when we have that attitude for our sisters or for our brothers, as the case may be. We mentioned the statement and the piece of advice that Ibn Abi Dunya, he narrates in his book Al-Ikhwan, that was given to the son of an individual who said, "O my son, keep good ties with your relatives and be noble with your brothers. For indeed, you should let your brothers be," and him advising with the type of person you should accompany. You should let your brothers be those who, when you part from them and they part from you, you will not be blamed for having them as friends. And that, no doubt, is and has in it an indication of having good upright companions, good upright associates, and not that you associate with any Tom, Dick and Harry, not that you associate with any individual regardless of where they are, particularly the people of desires and bid'ah, for indeed they are worse. Again, I reiterate, they are worse than accompanying fornicators, drug sellers, and individuals who rob and steal. Accompanying the people of innovation, even if they would never commit those types of sins. And they are, mashallah, beautiful character and what have you. But they are people of innovation and they are not upon the sunnah. Then accompanying them is worse than accompanying a fornicator and an individual who shaves his beard, or a sister who is mutabarrij and doesn't wear hijab or cover. Worse. And it is a concept that must be understood. Abu Ja'far rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentioned, لا تجالسوا أهل الأهواء فإنهم الذين يخوضون في آيات الله. He said, do not accompany the people of desires, for they indeed are the people who enter wrongly into speaking about the verses of Allah Azza wa Jal. Abu Hamza Shaybani, he mentioned when he was asked about Al-Ikhwan Fillah, who they are, who are your brothers or your sisters for the sake of Allah, he said they are the amiluna bi ta'atillah. They are those who act upon the obedience to Allah. He mentioned al-muta'awinuna ala amrillah, those who cooperate upon the command and upon the affairs of Allah. وَإِن تَفَرَّقَتْ دُورَهُمْ وَأَبْدَانُهُمْ, even if their bodies and their lands are separate, even if there's distance between them, they have that affair of working in accordance with obedience to Allah, cooperating upon that. And that then indicates that they have love for those who are upon that. And not that they say, oh, those sisters are those, the ones who think they're holier than thou. Similarly, we have the statement of Abu Qilaba, who mentions, لا تجالسوا أهل الأهواء ولا تجادلوهم فإني لا آمن من أن يغمسوك في ضلالتهم أو يلبسوا عليكم ما تعرفون. He said, do not sit with the people of desires and don't argue with them. And again, ikhwan, this is something that we oftentimes see many of the brothers and the sisters entering into. I just want to argue with him and just prove the point and just let it be known and just prove that they're wrong. But that is something that the Salaf of this ummah used to prohibit. Don't sit with them and don't argue with them. He said, because verily I fear that you will not be safe from them hurling you and throwing you into their dalala, into their misguidance. Or, even if you don't fall into their misguidance, أَوْ يُلَبِّسُوا عَلَيْكُمْ مَا تَعْرِفُونَ, or they'll cause you to become confused with those things that you already know. And so you are upon clear sightedness, alhamdulillah, you are upon itmi'nan and tranquility. You argue with one of those individuals and suddenly now you are doubting that which you already know and you are a bit confused concerning what you have been upon for years. Those are from the evil effects of arguing with the people of innovation. And so the people of innovation and bid'ah are avoided by all means. Fudayl ibn Iyad rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentioned, لا تجلس مع أصحاب البدعة أو مع صاحب بدعة فإني أخاف أن تنزل عليك اللعنة والعياذ بالله. He mentioned, do not sit with the companion of bid'ah. Why? Because verily I fear that the curse of Allah will fall upon you. And the curse of Allah, ikhwan, no doubt, when Allah Azza wa Jal punishes an individual or punishes people, on some occasions, those who are in proximity to that individual is encompassed by that punishment. Now, those who are in close proximity to them are encompassed by that punishment. And that is why the people of evil and shar and the people of bid'ah and innovation are avoided. Because it may be that you become encompassed and affected by the punishment when it comes to them from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the proofs of that is the hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, wherein Aisha radiallahu anha mentioned that the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, يغزو جيشنا الكعبة فإذا كانوا ببيضاء من الأرض يخصف بأولهم وآخرهم. That an army will come to fight and destroy the Kaaba. And when they are in an open, desolate land, yani as they journey towards the Kaaba, Allah will cause the land to open up and swallow the first of them and the last of them. And so Aisha radiallahu anha, she queried, كيف يكسف بأولهم وآخرهم وفيهم من ليس منهم وأسواقهم? How will Allah, and why will Allah cause the earth to open up and swallow all of them, when from them may be individuals who have just come to buy and sell and are just present buying and selling, or individuals who are not from them even, but are just with them, and he has come for the journey or taken a ride, whatever the case may be. The Messenger ﷺ responded by saying, يُخْسَفُ بِأَوَّلِهِمْ وَآخِرِهِمْ ثُمَّ يُبْعَثُونَ عَلَى نِيَاتِهِمْ. That he said that the first of them and the last of them will all be swallowed up, and then they will be brought back upon their niyyah, upon their intent. Yani, they'll be destroyed and swallowed up, but Yawm al-Qiyamah, they will be brought forward in accordance with their niyyah. If they weren't involved, then no doubt they will not be punished on the basis of that. But they will be encompassed by the punishment in the dunya. And that, no doubt, the scholars, they extrapolate from that the evils of accompanying individuals who are upon sin and are upon evil and are upon bid'ah. When the la'na comes and when the curse comes, one fears that something from that curse may encompass them. And so Fudayl ibn Iyad, he mentions, don't sit with the people of bid'ah, for indeed I fear that the curse of Allah Azza wa Jal will encompass you. Similarly, we have the statement of Fudayl ibn Iyad, who mentioned, لا تجالس سيء الخلق فإنه لا يدعو إلا إلى الشر. He said, do not sit with one who has bad character, for indeed he does not call except to evil. Don't sit with people of bad character. And that is something that we find people oftentimes falling into. That the one who has bad character usually is a person or an individual who is flamboyant and oftentimes possibly very funny, and so people are taken in by their flamboyancy and by their humor, and they accompany them because they're really funny, or she's a joker. She makes me laugh every time I'm with her. I can't stop laughing. And so they accompany individuals who are known to be bad, people of bad character, because of humor or what have you. Fudayl, he mentions, don't sit with those individuals because they will call you, and they will not call you except to shar, except to evil. Similarly, we have the statement of Abu Darda radiyallahu anhu. Abu Darda radiyallahu anhu, he made a beautiful statement, and perhaps we'll return to the statement of Abu Darda. Before that, we'll mention the statement of Al-Imam Al-Shafi'i. Imam Al-Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentions, and this is a statement for those who, and it's connected, has a connection to individuals who are affected by certain people, like the one who is of bad character, but because of their persona, because of their flamboyancy, people are just attracted to them. Then those individuals, oftentimes, in order to be in the good books of the one who, or this flamboyant bad character, they are oftentimes given to having to suck up to this individual. And that was something that Imam Al-Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala informed us of. Imam Al-Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentioned, لا خير في صحبة من تحتاج إلى مداراته. He said that there is no good in having or in accompanying one that you need to utilize flattery with. There is no khair and no good with an individual that you need to utilize flattery with. And regardless of who that person is, if they are only won over through flattery, then there is no khair and no good in accompanying such an individual. People of khair are people who are humble. People of khair are people who don't blow their own trumpet or love that love that trumpets be blown for them. There is no khair للسجود لخالقي في اختلاف الليل والنهار. Thirst during the intense heat of the day. Are selective in what they say, just as one of you is selective when choosing fruit. When you choose fruit and you turn them over, you look at the underside, you analyze them, you squeeze them, you feel that how dense they are, how heavy they are. If it is a melon, then you pat it and listen to its sound. Just as fruit is chosen and selected, the third thing that Abu Darda, he mentioned that he loves in the dunya, if it were not for these three things, then I wouldn't even want to remain, is to sit with people who select their speech, just as one of you selects his fruit. And so those who are given to gargara, and those who are the thartharun, individuals who sit and just chat and chat and chat, and sit and just rant and joke and laugh and chat, and that is the only thing that they're concerned with in their gathering, and everybody gathers around them because they're the one that is the funniest and is the center of the conversation. Then those are not the individuals that Abu Darda was referring to here. He said sitting with the people who select their speech the same way one of you selects his fruit. And inshallah we'll round up with the statement of that great Imam Abu Hakeem Al-Razi rahimahullah ta'ala. He mentions إن من أعظم الدلائل على معرفة ما في المرء من تقلب أو سكون هو الاعتبار بمن يخادنه. He said that indeed from the greatest of the indicators, from the greatest sign of that which a person is upon, from either being one that chops and changes in his religion or one who is firmly established. He mentions it is that a person reflects upon those who he takes as companions and as friends and associates. لأن المرء على دين خليله, because a man and a person is upon the religion of his friend. والطير السماء على أشكالها تقع, and birds of a feather flock together. And that then is a comprehensive statement each and every one of us should reflect upon, and then think about the friends that we have. And that if you want to know an individual, as the Salaf used to say, don't ask about him, rather ask about his friends. Who are his or her companions? Who does she spend time with? Who does she associate with? How are they? What type of character do they have? How are they known in and among the community? Are they known for righteousness and uprightness and good, or for evil and gossip and backbiting and tail carrying and destroying families and destroying relationships? Those individuals who have forked tongues and just love, actually, to get their tongues or to involve themselves verbally in people's situations and to cause harm, almost as though it is a favorite pastime of theirs. Or is that you, maybe? Each and every one of us, sisters, should reflect upon ourselves, reflect upon our character, reflect upon how we are as a companion to our companions and our associates, and likewise reflect upon the associates that we take, and make sure that we're from among those individuals who the Salaf would advise people to be with. That is the type of person you should take as a friend. We should be that individual. We should be that type of friend, and not be given and taken by peer pressure to do what is popular and do what is well known as an attractor of individuals. If it is evil, then it will not return back to us except with evil Yawm al-Qiyamah. And in the dunya before that. For indeed, ayyuha al-ikhwa, sayyi'ah, and that which is evil, does not attract or bring about other than that which is evil. And know that good brings about good. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make us from the good companions and to bless us with good companions, that He makes it easy for us to gain by way of them His good pleasure and His ridwan yawm al-qiyamah. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى يوفقنا وإياكم لما يحبه ويرضاه وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.